Today, we're diving into the world of neurotoxins. And no, it's not just about smoothing out those wrinkles. Yes, we will talk about how wonderful they are for that. Treatments like Botox, Dysport, and Jeuveau are all well known for keeping things fresh and softening those lines. These injections go far beyond cosmetics. And today, we're covering all of the surprising ways people are using them to feel their best inside and out. I'll also walk you through my personal journey with neurotoxins. Hey everyone, welcome back to The Unfiltered Fix. I'm Megan Sharpe, and I actually started using Botox when I was 19 to help with chronic headaches. And since then, I've tried several options to find the one that works best for me now. So let's get into what neurotoxins are, how they work, and what makes each product different. When people walk into Zen Regen and they say, I want Botox, most people don't realize that what they're asking for is simply a name brand. Botox, Dysport, Jeuveau, they're talking about a category of treatments that use botulinum toxin type A, and they are classified as neurotoxins, also known as neuromodulators, or even more simply put, tox. They work by temporarily blocking the nerve signal to specific muscles, which relaxes those muscles and reduces muscle contractions. This muscle relaxation helps soften those lines, especially in areas where we tend to make the most expression. So think about your forehead, around your eyes, between your brows. And these muscles are no different than any other muscle in your body. So the more we use them or work them out, the stronger they get. However, when those muscles are on your face, we certainly don't want them to become exaggerated or more pronounced. And so by using a tox, we help soften those, inhibit the muscle movement, and soften the appearance of your facial features. I like to think of neuromodulators like Pepsi or Coke. So if you think about Botox being the original of these products, Dysport, Xeomin, Jeuveau, and now there's Daxxify, they all have their own unique twist. Pepsi and Coke is a great analogy because one person may favor Pepsi while another may favor Coke. There's a slight taste difference or whatever it is that the individual likes about them. One is more sweet, one is more sugary. It's a personal preference. So it's all about finding the formula that fits your unique needs and style. Another good example of this is when we go to blow our nose and you say, I'm going to grab a Kleenex. Well, Kleenex is actually just a brand name. You're really grabbing a tissue. So when you go into a clinic, remember there are multiple different brands out there, and it's not just a one size fits all. If one doesn't work for you, it's okay to try another one. I think why people come in and they ask for Botox so often is because it's really the original, it's the OG, right? It's the original neuromodulator that was put out on the market and widely used both for aesthetics and medical conditions. It's super versatile, handling everything from your forehead lines and your crow's feet to more complex needs like chronic migraines and muscle spasms, which we'll talk about here in a minute. And I actually started using Botox when I was 19, not because I had any fine lines and wrinkles at that point, but because I had chronic headaches and somebody had mentioned to me that Botox might help. It was seriously life-changing for me. Over time, though, I noticed that Botox started to last less and less. So I realized that I was getting more units and I wasn't getting the same longevity out of it that I once did. Now, some may say, obviously, we're not reversing the signs of aging. And yes, that aging process is still going. However, there is something where your body can actually build up a slight tolerance. So that means higher doses, or you need to switch to a different option. Simply put, Botox is the Goliath in this space. They spend a lot of money on clinical trials and they have the most FDA approvals. They're backed by more than 20 years of research. So when it comes to safety and efficacy, this is normally the one that comes to the forefront of everybody's mind. Then there's Xeomin. This tox is normally called the naked neurotoxin because it doesn't actually have any accessory protein. So it's a cleaner, more pure formula, which makes it a great option for those individuals that are really looking for a cleaner product, if you will. And it's also a great option if they're experiencing or developing a resistance to other products. I was curious when Xeomin first came out. I thought it might be a good fit fit for me just because of its clean formulation, but I didn't quite get the results that I was looking for in terms both aesthetically or with my headache relief. So I decided that that wasn't the best option for me. When you're diving into the differences between these, there's a lot of information out there. I was recently listening to a video with a biohacker that I follow, and he was talking about the difference between Botox and Xeomin. And in this video, he said that he thought Botox was possibly a contributing factor to a blood clot in one of his family members, while Xeomin stimulates collagen production. Both of these statements are false. When you are in this industry, you're a little bit more aware of what the safety and the efficacy is, how they can actually benefit you. So, fact checker, Xeomin does not stimulate collagen production. While there are potential risks with any tox that you do, there's not really anything that says that blood clots are associated with neurotoxins. I found it interesting that people, of course, have their own opinions, and that's great. But I think it's also really important for us to be educated on what it is that we're putting in our body and how it can affect us long-term or short-term even. Then there's Dysport. Dysport's known for a faster spread. So this makes it more ideal for treating larger areas like the forehead, especially those that have a larger forehead. Dysport can actually kick in a little bit faster than Botox, or some people seem to report a faster acting product, which makes people really appreciate that. I've also tried Dysport, and while I loved it for the way it softened the lines in my forehead and my glabella, it didn't give me the relief for my headaches that I was looking for and the same effect that I got from Botox. So I continued my search and decided that I would just continue to experiment with other products until I found the one that gave me the results that I was looking for, both cosmetically speaking and medically speaking. We typically use Dysport as part of our sexual wellness program at Zen Regen, so I'll dive into that a little bit more later. But now I want to talk about Jeuveau. This is actually my current favorite tox. In my opinion, and most of our patients' opinion, Jeuveau has a faster onset. So I start to see the results a little bit sooner, even within the first couple of days, which I personally love. It also feels a little bit lighter to me. So for those that don't really like that heavy feeling that they get in their forehead from Botox, I feel like Jeuveau gives a very natural result while still inhibiting that muscle movement, and I get the best of both worlds. I've also found that Jeuveau does in fact help my headaches. Now, I don't really know what the correlation is and why one helps and the other one doesn't, but again, it's really just trying these products to see what works best for you. I've used Jeuveau in multiple areas, just like I have with Botox. I've used it in my forehead, my glabella, my crow's feet, so right around my eyes. And most recently, I tried it in my masseter muscles and my platysmal bands. So what are those areas? Your masseter muscles are the muscles in your jaw, which contribute to TMJ, teeth grinding, and then those platysmal bands or your plat bands are those things in your neck where if you're like me and you make a funny face, it kind of makes you look a little like an alien. By using a tox in those areas, it helps to soften those muscles and give you a more defined appearance. Jeuveau truly has been the perfect balance of aesthetics and functionality for me. And then there's something called Daxxify. It's a newer option on the scene that's reported to last a little bit longer than the others. So if you're looking to cut down on touch-ups, this could be an option for you. Full transparency, this is not a product that I've personally tried, so I don't really have any personal reference or recommendation for this specific product. Again, if you're curious, it's okay to try one and bounce around. There's no reason that you can't intermix them. And some providers may actually use one tox in one area and another tox in another. So talk to your provider that's really trained on being able to pick the best tox for you and help you really achieve the goals that you're looking for. When you go into a clinic, something you may hear is the term on-label or off-label. So I want to talk a little bit about what that looks like. And simply put, on-label just means FDA approval. It doesn't mean that these products are not safe for other uses. It just means that the company is paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to conduct these clinical trials to determine what the efficacy is of these products in a certain area. Botox to my knowledge, is one of the only ones, or the only one out there, that's actually FDA approved for both cosmetic and medical purposes. Again, they have deep pockets. They put a lot of money into their trials to make sure that people are fully aware of what they're getting. Off-label uses are really interesting. So they're just a creative way that providers use these products, even though it hasn't officially been FDA approved for this specific thing. Again, that doesn't mean that they're not safe to use. They're being used widely all across the world for a variety of different things. Something that you may hear or have heard recently is called Barbie Botox. What this is it's an injection in the trapezius muscles that create an elongated neck appearance. It kind of softens those trap muscles, giving you a sleek Barbie look. I personally like to look and feel strong, so I have not tried this. I actually like my trap muscles and take pride in the fact that I work really hard on making them strong. Another thing you may hear is a V-line Botox. And again, just remember, Botox is just a brand name, so these other products can also be used for these same things. We use it in the masseter muscles and along the jaw to slim the jawline and create a V-shaped face. As you clench your teeth or grind your teeth, it can sometimes build up those masseter muscles, giving you, if you're a woman, a more masculine shape. And so by injecting the tox into your masseter muscles, it slims that down and just gives you a little bit more of a feminine appearance. So it's also important for you to know that placement for any tox for a woman is going to be different than the placement of tox for a man. Again, this is why it's really crucial to choose a provider that knows how to place the tox to give you the best results. One of my favorite things with tox is treating my plait bands. And again, this is those vertical bands in the neck that really, when you inject it there, it helps smooth the area, giving you a nice youthful neck profile. You can combine this with exosomes or PDNR, polynucleotides. These are things that we can combine to give you a nice appearance. And you can also use different laser technologies to help continue to smooth that area if the neurotoxin isn't giving you the smooth appearance that you're really looking for. Another game changer is treating hyperhidrosis. This is an excessive amount of sweat. So for those individuals that get really sweaty armpits and you end up with those pit stains, that can be a little bit of a confidence killer, right? Like you're a little more self-conscious when you raise your arms and you've got a nice wet spot on your shirt. So neurotoxins can actually treat hyperhidrosis, not just in your armpits, but also in the palms and your feet, as well as sometimes in your scalp. We actually do quite a bit of tox in underarms to help reduce the sweating, and our patients are thrilled with the results. Another way tox can be used that's not common necessarily in our field, but for an overactive bladder. Tox can be injected into the bladder to help reduce the frequency and urgency of urination. So for those people that, struggle with that might be something to talk to your provider about as well. And one of our very favorite ways to use tox at Zen Regen is to utilize a special technique where we inject tox into the penis to help enhance size and function. It can give you a firmer erection, help you last longer, and decrease shrinkage in the flaccid state. Men, do I have your attention yet? We can actually combine this treatment with the P shot, where we inject PRP to provide an even better outcome. The benefits of it, honestly, are such a game changer for sexual wellness. We'll go through a whole nother episode of this and dive deeper into that specific topic. But if it's something that you're interested about, again, you definitely want to choose a provider that has been taught and trained in these special techniques so that we minimize any potential side effects and give you the best result possible. After all, that's not really an area where you want to mess around too much, right? You want to make sure that you have somebody knowledgeable. I can't stress enough, make sure that your provider knows what they're doing. There's a lot of questions around tox, how it's used, how it works, how effective it is, how safe it is, yada, yada. And one of the questions that people ask a lot is, does it really erase wrinkles completely? Our answer is always not exactly. So it does soften and reduce the appearance of lines, but it doesn't completely erase them, which which is why we use other laser technologies for laser resurfacing. It's a great complementary service. Tox is really just a way to prevent and minimize wrinkles over time, but it's not going to erase them completely. So for somebody that comes in with really strong muscles, really, really deep lines in their forehead, it's not going to completely reduce and soften those lines. We're going to also need to do complementary services where we're really completely resurfacing that skin to give you a better outcome. And of course, people always want to know, how long is it going to last? So for any of these treatments or areas that I talked about, most neuromodulators last anywhere between 3 to 6 months. Some products like Daxxify make a claim that they last a little bit longer, but it really does depend on the individual and how your body is going to metabolize the product. What I really want to stress though is sometimes people will come in and they'll say, oh, I'm just going to kind of test the waters. I only want to do a few units. Let's see how I respond. I do not encourage that at all. We call this a therapeutic dose. There are a specific amount of units that need to be used for specific concerns or specific areas. And I really want you guys to know there's a reason that we do that, because it gives you the best result and you're going to be the happiest if you use a therapeutic dose. If you use less than what we're recommending, the product is going to wear off faster. You're still going to have movement. You're not going to be happy with your result, and you're just going to be throwing away that money. Then there's also the timing of neurotoxin. When do I start? Well, as I mentioned, I started when I was 19. And then there are people that have not done it at all and they want to try it in their 40s or 50s. And that is completely fine. Again, coming in and creating a personalized treatment plan with your provider is going to give you the best benefit. But I really think that neuromodulators or neurotoxins or tox is a great preventative treatment. So if you start a little bit younger, as you age, you're going to have less fine lines and wrinkles over time. It is 100% a fantastic preventative treatment. Starting your neuromodulators early can help keep muscles relaxed and delay the formation of deep lines over time. So it gives you a head start on maintaining smoother skin. So to sum all this up, Tox has such a wide variety of things that we can use it for. It's safe, it's effective, you can use it with other treatments. It is honestly a game changer to level up your confidence. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of The Unfiltered Fix. I hope you're walking away with some fresh insights into the world of neurotoxins, from the beauty benefits to the unexpected ways that it can enhance your overall wellness. And if you're curious to explore these treatments further, remember that a consultation with a licensed provider is the best place to start. Come see us at Zen Dermatology and Regenerative Medicine. The booking link is in the show notes. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and even more unfiltered insights to come if you follow me on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so you never miss an episode. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you next week.